Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 135. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this Atlantean Wednesday evening, Earth date, December 13th, 2017. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, my co-host, Brendan Full. Say hello, Brendan.
Hey, Rem, how's it going?
I am finer than a frog hair split four ways. How are you?
Finer than a frog is split four ways.
Finer than Frogger.
Finer than Frogger.
Because he got hit by a car.
Finer than Frogger doing four splits. I just want to be cool, too.
You keep trying, buddy.
Keep on keeping on.
Just
keep on creeping on.
Someday before you know it, you'll be cool. And you won't even realize that you're cool until you're cool.
I put sunglasses on my hat.
Yeah, that's what the cool people do. They put that sweet, sweet sunglass on their hat.
Get this, man. I only button one of my overalls. That's pretty cool.
Oh, no way. You're like the chic of chic place.
I carry a giant lollipop. That's cool. I have a beanie with a propeller on it.
Oh, really? I figured you were going to go with the straw hat.
No. I'm trying to see what's cool right now is 1950s 8-year-old.
Well, I
That's
mean,
what's in.
You're looking more on the suburban end. I was going a little more country, I guess, then.
Yeah, like a little Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, you tend to go
OP.
there because... Never mind.
Because why, Brandon?
I was going to make a joke about the racist language in the books, but I decided against it. It's too early for me to expose your racism.
Once again, making me out to be the monster that I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm a monster
Remington,
in a lot of ways. Racism is not one of them.
So what have you been up to?
Oh, what have I been up to? Well, I was just cleaning my house. It's super exciting.
Ooh, tell me more.
And earlier today, I was doing some website maintenance. Really exciting stuff. Trying to up my rich snippet game. And if you don't understand what that is, that's A-okay. I barely understand it as well.
What, your rich snippet game?
Yeah.
What is that?
Rich snippets are basically things that tell. It's another part of SEO and also social optimization.
Okay.
So rich snippets, like search engine optimization, only goes so far to tell Google or other search engines how to display your stuff.
So search engine optimization is something like Mario, the new Mario game comes out, or the new Pokemon game, for example. So I wrote an article about Pokemon to be published the same day it came out. That way people searching for Pokemon are more likely to see our article leading to our website, correct?
Yeah. That would be an example of writing content that is going to be relevant.
And then enlisting the tags in the article, tagging it like hashtag Pokemon, hashtag Pokemon Gold, hashtag new Pokemon. Stuff like that is the optimization part of it.
Yeah, and giving it a keyword, there are ways to do that. But also this is going a little step further. So let's say you were looking up a recipe.
Okay.
And you were looking up a recipe for
McDonald's Sawsome sauce.
Okay, McDonald's what?
Signature sauce. McDonald's signature sauce.
And in the search engine, instead of just being a bunch of links, it has like a picture and it's got like how many stars that this recipe has got and how many calories it has.
Yeah.
That's what you use the rich snippets for. It tells the search engine more about what your link is about so it can display it in a way that's more pleasing to the searcher.
Oh, okay.
So you have a higher chance of getting clicked on if you have a well-designed rich snippet backend.
It sounds confusing.
It's it's pretty confusing. So I've been trying to muck my way through that and fiddle with it a little bit, just experimenting. I'm always trying to push myself not only to learn something new, but to improve the site in some way.
Yeah.
So,
and you just wrote an article I saw that you put up.
Yeah, I just did that. I was really bored at work. We have not had any foot traffic. Like, I can't even say very little because we really didn't have anybody for like 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. But I got an article wrote.
It was a lengthy article too.
Yeah, there was a lot of research going on, talking about having a bunch of tabs open. I also had just a ton of tabs open, referencing different things for what I was writing about. Which was the Librarians. The Librarians season 4 is coming out tonight. It's releasing a 2-hour premiere for season 4.
Do you have it TiVo'd or DVR'd or DVO'd or whatever?
Yes, we're TiVoing it. And I'm really excited to watch it.
Yeah, your article I thought was interesting. It's funny because I'm always watching the website and I'm excited to see when a new article's posted.
Yeah.
Even though right now we have like maybe 3 people who actually write for the site.
Yeah.
Anytime I see one from Mumfrey talking about going to a Comic-Con, his are really well written. I love reading those. I'm always surprised to see one from you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the articles on our website. It's like a little, oh boy, when I get to read something new.
Yeah. Yeah, I like having them up too. I wish we could get more people interested in just geeking out with us and writing little things about what they care about.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard that we don't offer any sort of monetary compensation though. Like if we had a budget, and obviously we don't because we don't really pull in any money at all from the website or from the podcast.
Right.
If we had a budget, I'm sure we could get writers, like, hey, we give you X amount of money for every article you write.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as it stands now, I mean, the people that we do have write just for the sake of writing and because they like us.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yep. So, I mean, that's why, I don't want to come off like a jerk when somebody's taking forever to write an article because I'm like, well, it's not like you're getting paid for it. So
yeah,
I can't be mad.
Except with our friend Kevin, who has said he's going to write a Hearthstone article for fucking 2 years and has never written one thing.
He's never committed to anything. And that's the saddest thing is that Kevin would do such a good job at writing a Hearthstone article.
I think we would pull more people to our website if he did like a weekly thing or a monthly thing talking about the new cards.
Absolutely. Or just building a deck meta or something like that. He really underestimates his skill.
What if we just take the constant Hearthstone chat that he does in our group chat and we just turn that into an article without his permission?
Yeah, we should. Just really get him started on talking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he does. I think he really underestimates not just how good he could be at an article. Like, I don't know if Kevin's much of a writer, but he's got a great editor behind him.
Who?
Me.
I've read, whenever I go in and out of being into Magic, the card game. Whenever I am in, I read a lot of Magic articles about the new cards coming out. And those people aren't particularly great writers.
Yeah.
They write technically, and that's different. They don't need flourishing and they don't need it to draw you in with their words. They just need to say, here's a card, here's why it's good, here's how you would use it.
Yeah.
Which I think Kevin would be fantastic at.
Yeah, I think
this episode's just for Kevin, apparently.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think even with just some technical flourish, I mean, he knows how to talk, and for me, especially, like, I write the way I talk to a certain degree. Now, here's the thing. I will catch myself getting wordy sometimes.
Yeah.
But I will go back and I'll read it out loud and I'll say, that's too much. That's too wordy. And I'll try to rein it in, depending on what I'm talking about. But that's kind of the way that I have decided to write articles, just to very much follow the way I would talk if I were explaining it to somebody.
Yeah.
And the reason why is that, writing an article for an online audience is something that you want to be relatively quick. You want somebody to be able to skim over it and get the gist of what you're saying fairly easily.
Yeah, it's so easy now to see an article that's like, oh, well, this is too long. I'm never reading this.
Exactly. Or if you can at least get them hooked in the beginning and it's not too difficult to read, then they'll tend to scroll through the rest of it. Yeah, because you got to keep in mind, people are looking at your stuff while they're on the shitter, you know?
Whenever I write stuff, I try to keep it to a page, like a typed page at most.
Exactly. Or they're waiting for the bus or something, you know?
They got the mother and the kids. They got the guy and his date.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the bus.
So yeah, you want to keep it kind of short and kind of sweet. And it's just like my Librarians one. It was kind of long. But I think I did an okay job at not being too explanatory, I guess. I don't know if that's an actual word, but
yeah, no, I mean, you got in depth with it, but that's what the article was. The article was, here's an in-depth look at this show.
Yeah.
So
I thought it would be neat to give a little history about it because the season actually hasn't started yet. So
yeah. So how long have you been a shill for Big Librarian?
Many years, Brandon. Since 2002.
Boy, they really did not get their money's worth then with your one article. I've literally have never heard of this show until I read your article. So you haven't been that great of a shill.
I wear my Librarian shirt all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, I wore it just yesterday.
What does it look like?
It says the Librarians across it and it has like a sword.
Oof, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But you're typically shirtless when I see you.
This is true. Actually, I think it's Excalibur is the sword.
Just rubbing that grease into yourself.
Anyway,
grease.
What have you been up to?
Nothing. We got a cat.
Yeah.
I was telling you about that before.
Yeah.
My family decided, I'm super duper allergic to cats, but they all kind of decided without me to bring in this stray cat, which I know you're not supposed to do. I am aware you're not supposed to bring in a stray cat, but my family brought in a stray cat. So we have a stray cat now. We turned a hoe into a housewife and we're trying to litter box train the cat.
A boy cat, no less.
It's a boy cat, yeah.
Yeah.
Who I'm pretty sure hasn't been spayed or neutered, whichever one you do to a boy.
Right.
Neutered?
I don't remember. I can never remember when I need to.
One of those nasty things you do to its balls. I'm not sure if it has or not, so I don't know. It's been fun. It's a cute cat. It's like a Garfield cat. It doesn't have a tail.
Yeah.
It's got just like a little nub.
Yeah.
So, and it has a chip out of its ear, which I know you said, or your girlfriend said, is something that they'll do where they'll like spay and neuter cats and then mark them, like take a little chip out of their ear and release them back into the wild sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why I'm not sure if it has been treated or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let me put it this way. Because it's not a young cat, right?
No, it's probably, I saw it around last winter and it was full grown. So it's at least 2 or 3.
Yeah. I mean, if it were a boy cat and it still had its balls, you'd know.
Like, because we'd see him?
Yeah, absolutely. Unless he's a super long hair, which...
No, he's not.
Exactly. So, yeah.
I don't really see gender, though, so I'm not sure if I'd see the balls or not, if I'd notice them.
What else have you been doing?
Honestly, that's it, man. I started a second job. I don't think I told you this.
No, you didn't.
I start tomorrow, my second job. But I got hired. So I'm leaving NASA.
Uh-huh.
And starting somewhere else that I will make up later. Okay. Whatever the name of it is.
Okay.
I put in my 2 weeks at NASA.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad that you got a second job.
Yeah, and really it will be my only job. I say second job for the next week and a half until I finish out at NASA.
Yeah.
And then I ride that big spaceship right off into space, flipping them off the whole time. It's going to be like the end of Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah.
Except I'm going to be going up instead of down.
Yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You've never seen Doctor Strangelove?
I don't know. Oh my
God, it's such a good movie. If you haven't seen it, Remington, you should watch it, really.
I think I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I don't think I've ever watched the full thing.
I think you've quoted before, "Gentlemen, there's no fighting in the war room." Or maybe not. I don't know.
No, I haven't.
Dr. Strangelove, you can watch it on YouTube. You should really sit down and watch it. It's like an hour and 15 minutes long, and it is really funny.
Yeah.
Peter, I can't remember the guy's name who plays all the characters. He's a really famous actor, though.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, but
yeah, no, I know you're aware of the movie.
What is his name? Shit.
Peter Sellers.
Yes, Peter Sellers. That's right. The Pink Panther.
Yeah, he does great. I watched it just probably about a month or so ago, and then went on a kick where I was listening to interviews with Peter Sellers on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you can just listen to these things of him doing all of these accents. And it'll be like Peter Sellers does 100 accents. And it's crazy. He was a talented guy.
Kind of like me.
Yeah.
Only more
Man
famous.
of 1,000 chins.
Oh.
See, I feel like because I'm getting fatter, it's more okay for me to make fat jokes again. Because now we can kind of be brethren a little bit.
Yeah. Until one of us gets hungry enough to eat the other.
See, you've got the size advantage.
Yeah.
I feel like you've just got the advantage in every situation on this.
See, now I started doing some. I actually need to do it when we're done here, but I started doing yoga. I got a nice daily yoga app on my phone, and
Oh, is that the thing you sent me the link to?
No, that app is a breathing app, and it's a real simple app. I was actually going to tell you about it, not on the podcast, but we're here. You know how last episode we were talking about your anxiety and stuff, and you were doing and all of that, and I figured this one you could give a try. This one, you can actually change the timing in which it basically makes a chime for when you breathe in and a chime when to breathe out.
Okay.
And you just go, and it has a timer to do it for so many cycles. So it's real simple, but when you're doing that, you want to really, when you're breathing in, you focus on breathing in using the diaphragm and not just, filling your lungs, but using your diaphragm to pull the air in.
And this is the diaphragm, not for a woman to keep from getting pregnant. This is the diaphragm of the human body, correct?
Yes, okay. It is, Brandon. Thank you. Yes, for the
clarification. I just wanted to clarify for our
audience who are clearly stupid.
That wasn't for me.
Yeah. But you breathe in through using the diaphragm. That way you can get your air in as deeply into your lungs as you can. And then on the exhale, you want to force that air out. Like you don't just want to, you want to, and you force it out all the way to the point where you feel like you need to gasp air in almost.
Yeah.
That's when it's the most beneficial is
okay.
If you can get that kind of breathing in through the diaphragm, filling your lungs as full as they can go, and then exhaling that forcefully enough to where it feels like right when you're getting ready to hear that next chime, you're ready to gasp. So that is the most cleansing way to do your breathing exercises.
Okay.
So I don't do them a lot anymore, but and you can play with the time on that one and dial it in to where it's most comfortable for you. And then as you do it, if you're frequent with doing it, you'll be able to actually have a metric to say, oh, it's really become easier for me to breathe in for this amount of time and exhale for this amount of time. So maybe I can add a couple more beats to it,
Yeah. From the breathing that I've been doing before, I've gotten to where I just kind of naturally breathe in deeper and exhale deeper too.
Yeah, and that's good.
So it's good. Yeah. Well, do you want to get into our first story? We've been kind of chattering for a while.
Yeah, we have.
Chitter chattering.
Bebopping around.
Other grandpa terms. We've been running our gums.
Yeah. I was going to transition into the story when we were talking about being fat.
Oh, we can go back to that.
And then we got off topic. So
we don't need to edit it. We'll just go back to like, boy, Remington, we sure are fat, huh?
Yeah, we're mighty big. Speaking of big, Brandon.
Yeah?
Segue. Oh,
thumbs up.
An international team of scientists recently discovered that they recently discovered a new species of prehistoric penguin.
I'm totally 100% in.
Apparently, I think they found it off the coast of New Zealand, and between 55 and 60 million years ago, a penguin that was approximately 5'10".
What?
And 220 pounds.
That is literally me.
Yeah.
I am 5'10" and 220 pounds.
Yep.
This penguin is my height and my size. I love it. I love everything about it.
What I would love to see is you to go back in time and wrestle it.
I mean, I feel like I would have the advantage because of my digits.
Yeah.
Do penguins have claws on the end of their webbed feet, though?
I don't think so.
Oh, they have beaks. That'd be a big-ass beak on a 5'10"
Yeah, it
penguin.
would. And those beaks are sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to get it from behind. The way I approach all penguins, I'd have to get it from behind.
Yeah, you would.
Well, see, and I famously love penguins. Anybody who knows anything about me knows that I love penguins.
Right.
So what do they know about this penguin? Do they know anything about its day-to-day life? I feel like that was a joke that fell flat, by the way. I've never once mentioned that I like penguins. I was trying to make that a thing, but it didn't go anywhere. So I want to go ahead and side with the audience and acknowledge that joke went nowhere.
I just assumed that you did because you have an email that includes the word penguin.
Penguin party?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do use that as my username for a lot of different things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's more for the alliteration, though.
Oh, okay. Less for the penguins and more for the wordplay.
Yeah. The very basic wordplay.
Oh, that's weird. They don't really list any, like, new feeding habits or anything of that nature. Whenever people think about penguins, they think about cold environments, but penguins exist in all different, there's all kinds of different penguins out there that live in, even lush jungle areas. So
presumably this penguin did what every other penguin does, only bigger.
Yeah. And they're estimating because giant penguins were actually kind of swimming around the world's oceans about 20 million years before whales were even a thing, really.
Really?
Yeah. So there was no seals, no thing, basically not too many things that could hunt them. So for a very small amount of time in the Earth's history, they may very well have been the predator of the sea, apart from sharks.
Yeah.
Because sharks have existed for longer, really.
Sharks are the bastards of the ocean.
Yeah. They said that they've had evidence of giant penguins before, but they have all been younger than this discovery. They have named this one Oumuamua Asteroid, which means monster bird in the Maori language. As I said,
it was near Australia? Well,
they said they found it off the coast of New Zealand.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Oh, that's okay. But there is another species that they found between about 33 to 45 million years ago, known as Anthropornis. Oh my God. Nordenskjoldi. Nordenskjoldi.
Hey, nice to meet you. It's Gordon Skildy.
Norden, like Norse, like Norway.
I like Gordon better. And here's my penguin. He's a Midwesterner, maybe from like North Dakota.
This one was of similar size. Seems like it was a little shorter. And then there was another one that was almost 5 feet tall and lived what is now Peru about 36 million years ago.
Man.
So, yeah, big penguin birds, nearly man-sized. Pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Very weird. So, yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a really interesting story to talk about.
Okay, so I looked up giant penguin on Google image search, and it's literally just a drawing of a normal penguin made to look huge beside a man.
Yeah, I think that might even... Are you looking at... Did you find an article?
I just Google image searched it.
Oh, okay.
It's on The Guardian.
Is the man a diver?
No, this is like a giant penguin, 6'8" called a mega penguin. Then there's a 5'10" British man, and then an emperor penguin. Emperor penguins stand 4'5" already?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Emperor...
so no, it's like the outline of sort of a sexy British dude.
That's weird. The one that I have is just a drawing of a large penguin next to a scuba diver.
Well, I would say that I'll link it, but it's saved as an SVG file. I have no idea what the hell that is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't worry about that then. This story comes from NPR, so if you want to read a little bit more and get the longer gist of what I was talking about, you can just go over there to their search and search giant prehistoric penguin. You should be able to find it pretty easily. It was just released yesterday, so pretty cool stuff.
Here's a black and white picture of a man kissing a giant penguin on the beak.
What?
Oh, it's an April Fool's Day picture. Never mind. I'm sorry, audience.
Don't forgive him.
Here's one of my stories, Remington. Speaking of not giving forgiveness.
Okay.
Quentin Tarantino is possibly going to direct a new Star Trek movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of news on it so far outside. He's been talking about how he'd like to do a Star Trek movie for a while. Apparently, he had a really good idea that he pitched to J.J. Abrams, and J.J. Abrams loved it.
Yeah.
So Quentin Tarantino's movie is going to be made, but he's in talks to perhaps direct it.
Okay.
The thing that he said about Star Trek movies that kind of sparked all this, that people kind of assume where his movie's going to go, is he said, I don't see why every Star Trek movie has to be about the main cast. Not every movie needs to have Uhura and Spock and Bones.
Yeah.
You can take any of the original Star Trek episodes, they were also good, and turn an episode into a 90-minute movie, and it would be a good movie.
Huh.
So it sounds like he's kind of wanting to do a side thing.
Yeah. Which would be interesting. I mean, that's the thing is, when it comes to Star Trek, when it comes to any property, really, that has such an established universe, wordplay not intended, but appropriate. You can have a story from anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the Battle of Wolf 359 in Star Trek lore. It's one that I think they've touched on here and there, but a lot of times it's mentioned more than anything. It's the first altercation that the Federation had with the Borg Collective.
Oh, okay.
So it was the first time that the Federation really understood the power of the Borg. It was just a complete massacre. They completely wiped out the Federation in that system. So, in the Wolf system. So.
Well, and it's kind of the same way that they're doing like Star Wars Rogue One and doing a Han Solo story with Star Wars. There's so much stuff there. Like you said, there's so much in fiction that they can use to just keep pumping out movies.
Yeah.
Apparently, I was reading a little more into it just now. He pitched the idea to Paramount.
Yeah.
They're shopping writers for it right now.
Okay.
And his only demand is that the movie be R-rated. So It looks like it's coming through. It looks like it is going to happen. That Quentin Tarantino is going to direct an R-rated Star Trek movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think nowadays, I don't see why we couldn't have an R-rated Star Wars. Or, I mean, Star Trek.
Star Trek. Or Star Wars.
Or Star Wars, for that matter.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Happen. Star Wars is more of a family-friendly property than Star Trek, honestly. Star Trek's so fucking boring. Star Wars is like, has exciting things and action and stuff in it. So kids like that more.
I mean, have you seen any of the new Star Trek movies?
No. But I don't have problems sleeping, so I don't really need to.
Yeah, they're not the same. They're not the same at all.
You saying they're not my daddy's Star Trek?
Yes, they are not your daddy's Star Trek.
No. Throw them in their star dumpster.
I enjoyed watching them in the sense that it was a good action flick, but it wasn't the Star Trek that I'm used to.
Yeah.
It wasn't space politics. So speaking of being up in space, tonight and tomorrow, the Geminid meteor shower peaks. So it's gonna be at full erection. December 13th and the 14th, and I think that's for us here in the States.
So it will have finished by the time this comes out.
No, I will get this out early tomorrow. Thank you. So
hopefully you guys saw the thing, because this episode's going to come out 2 weeks from now.
Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Well, I didn't want to put the pressure on you to put the episode out tonight.
I do what I want.
I'm not trying to tell you what to do, man. Just do it.
They're saying that the conditions couldn't be better to be able to see the rain of cosmic dust that will be falling through our atmosphere. The moon is going to be a very slim crescent, so there's not going to be a whole lot of light to interfere in that regard. And the best views that you'll be able to catch, in upwards of like 120 shooting stars per hour between 3:30 a.m. and 4 a.m. So if you're a bit of a night owl, you'll be able to see them best during those times.
3:30 to 4?
Yep.
I might actually have to set my alarm to get up to try to catch it because I've never seen a meteor shower before.
Yeah. And you may be able to go out and see a few now or a little later in the evening. It'll be very cold.
Yeah.
The Geminids begin as tiny specks of dust that hit the Earth's atmosphere at 22 miles per second, vaporizing from friction with the air, leaving behind streaks of light we call meteors. The meteors radiate from the constellation Gemini, the twins, hence the name, near the bright stars Castor and Pollux. They can appear anywhere in the sky, however, and actually leave longer trails the farther from the radiant that they are. Okay, so here's what you want to do. If you really want to kind of pinpoint where to look, there is an app that you can get called Sky Map. And you'll want to turn on your location and get it kind of dialed in to, magnetic north. And it actually shows the constellations and the different stars and stuff on this Sky Map. So you can actually hold your phone up and say, oh, okay, here's Gemini.
God, fucking technology.
Yeah. So then you can look up at Gemini and say, okay, this is where I'm going to be watching for the highest concentration of these meteorites.
Yeah.
Or meteors.
So just like with technology, I know this is kind of jumping off of the meteor shower thing, which is awesome and everybody should check it out and all that. Just technology. My girlfriend showed me this notebook last night that uploads to the cloud when you write stuff in it with a special pen, and then you can microwave the notebook and it clears all of the ink off of it.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's this notebook, and at the bottom of each page, it has little circles. And so there's like a Dropbox logo. There's a Google Drive logo. What is the storage system that looks like an elephant?
That's Evernote.
There's an Evernote logo. So you download an app on your phone. You draw with this special pen or write, do whatever. Then you use the app on your phone, hover your phone over it, and it automatically copies whatever you did and turns it into I'm guessing a PDF.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of the page, wherever you want to upload it to, you just circle it. So if you circle like the Dropbox, it'll automatically put it in your Dropbox or your Google Drive.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, you have to use these special pens, and the ink turns clear when it's heated.
Right, yeah.
So whenever you microwave it, the ink just turns clear and you can use it again.
That's really cool.
And the notebook is fucking $22. Like, it's not even this insane thing. It's $22.
I guess it really doesn't have to be. Really, all you're paying for is the heat-sensitive ink.
Yeah.
Huh, that's cool.
Still, yeah, it's technology. I was talking with her about that last night, and just the fact that where we are technologically, somebody can tell you there's a notebook that you microwave and the ink turns invisible, and you're like, huh, that's weird.
Yeah. So along those lines, this will be a real quick aside.
Okay.
If you are interested in things where ink appears and disappears, the King of Random recently released on YouTube, released a video of spy inks that you can make from stuff around the house.
Okay.
And he uses 2 or 3 different things, like I think one's lemon juice and the other is like a baking soda compound. And the word, you can write something and the words appear with a little application of heat.
Yeah.
So
like holding it over a light bulb or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a really cool way, or a really cool thing. And then he showed one that I think he showed one that would actually disappear afterward. It was a little more, because if you're writing secret notes, you don't want to necessarily have the evidence laying around once you have revealed it.
Yeah.
So I think he showed another one that actually disappeared or something like that. I don't remember now. It's been 2 or 3 days since I watched it. So
you took that information, processed it, and then let it explode like a spy.
Yes. Yep.
You can also use urine.
That message self-destructed after so many minutes. You can use urine.
Yeah, you can use urine to write with, and it'll appear over heat too.
Oh,
that's
cool.
Not me being facetious. That's true.
Huh. And now you know.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of sexy things coming out of penises, Remington.
Does this tie into our space news?
Okay, this one's a little rough. A little rough to explain. The story itself isn't rough. When you think Star Wars, do you know who Stormtrooper TK-421 is?
That sounds really familiar, but no.
Whenever the Millennium Falcon gets captured in A New Hope and it's sitting on the Death Star and Han and Luke have hidden inside of it, there's a stormtrooper outside guarding the Millennium Falcon. And they're like, hey, and they draw him in, shoot him, and then take his stormtrooper armor, and that's what Luke dresses up in.
Yeah.
And then as he's dressed in that, you hear somebody go, TK-421, is everything okay in there? That's TK-421, the one that they kill. So there's a Star Wars book. This is a couple months old at this point, but I thought it was interesting enough to bring up anyway.
Okay.
There's a Star Wars book called Star Wars from a Certain Point of View. And it is 40 Star Wars stories that are all canonical.
Yeah.
So these things, this is in Star Wars fiction, this happened. So follow me, all right?
Okay.
We're continuing to be in A New Hope. At one point, they've captured Chewbacca on the Death Star, and there's a little mouse droid that runs by. You know the little mouse droids, the little beep, 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 beep? There's a mouse droid that runs by. Chewbacca roars at it, and the mouse droid makes like a whop noise and zips away.
Right, yep.
That mouse droid is TK-421's mouse droid.
Oh, wait, he had his own mouse droid? I thought that those things I thought those were glorified vacuum.
No, they're messengers. They carry like holocron messages inside of them.
Oh, okay.
Apparently.
Huh.
And what that one was carrying was gay pornography.
What?
From TK-421 to a high-ranking officer that probably is Grand Moff Tarkin.
What?
Grand Moff Tarkin and Stormtrooper TK-421 were having a gay love affair.
I think you're calling bullshit. Are you just seeing if I'm paying attention?
No, I swear to God, it sounds fake. I swear to God, it is not. And obviously, the story isn't funny. I feel like we don't need to say this, but I will say it for the sake of whatever. I'm not making fun of the story because they're gay. I'm making fun of the story because did we really need to know that Grand Moff Tarkin is plugging one of the stormtroopers that got killed, or vice versa, or both? Who knows? Like, they have sex. It's in this book that they have sex. It never says Grand Moff Tarkin. It just says a high-ranking Imperial officer.
Yeah.
The mouse droid watches them, and then TK-421 wipes the memory of the mouse droid so it doesn't remember seeing them have sex. TK-421 says to it, there's just some things you shouldn't see. There are some things that and I'm paraphrasing, but he says something along the lines of like, there are certain things humans do that you don't need to see, dirty things.
What?
I swear this is true.
Wow. Okay, I have to look.
I saved a link actually.
Okay.
From our parent company, The Nerdist.
Huh.
Here, I can send you in chat if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I've got it right here. TK-421 Secret Love Affair. Detailed in Star Wars from a Certain Point of View.
It's of MSE6 and men.
Huh.
So the quote that he says, there's some stuff that you don't need to see, frankly. Human being stuff. Complicated. Messy.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So now, canonically, whenever you watch A New Hope and you see him get pulled in there and get shot, you now know his sex life.
Yeah, now I do.
So, yeah, I mean, I hope I don't come off as I'm being homophobic or anything. I really don't feel like I am. Because it's not the fact that he's gay or that Tarkin potentially is gay or whatever. It's just the level of detail weirdly in a Star Wars book that is announced as like, here is all canon stuff. It just seems strange to me, I guess.
Yeah.
But more power to them. Fuck away, stormtroopers.
I mean, this is where if I were talking about a story like this, where it's very easy to sound one way, even though you don't intend to, you would just throw me under the bus.
Yeah, absolutely, I would.
And yeah. So speaking of phallic objects entering the galaxy,
Subtle, I like it.
do you remember? Do you remember in November when there was this asteroid that kind of came real close to Earth?
Yeah.
And it was very like cigar shaped.
Yes.
Okay. There is talk, and I don't want to say that it's like incredibly serious talk, but it's kind of, I mean, it's certainly something that's being kicked around in the scientific community, apparently. The object they named Oumuamua, which is a Hawaiian word that means scout.
Okay.
And I might be saying it wrong, but anyway, it's a very, kind of spacey, almost sci-fi kind of name,
Yeah.
It has a few characteristics that are not in line with what we'd usually see from an asteroid passing through our solar system.
Okay.
So one of the big things that kind of sets it apart is that it was about a 1/4 mile in length. It had that, like I said, that cigar or needle kind of shape that is very conducive to what we might think that we would see in an interstellar spacecraft.
Okay.
It's passing through our system very cleanly through space, meaning that it's not emitting any kind of space debris. That's not really shirking off any. It doesn't really have a tail behind it like a comet would. So it's not. If it is an interstellar space rock, it doesn't seem to have anything that is warming up as it gets closer to our sun and off-gassing, because that's essentially what a comet's tail is.
So it's an alien spaceship.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. It's an alien spaceship.
I'm guessing these aren't actual pictures of it, but just like assumptions of what it looks like.
Yeah. One of the measurements says that it has a very red color, which is similar to asteroids that have a high metal content, iron and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It has, some of the measurements of its shape has a 10-to-1 axis ratio, which is not typical for asteroids, but it's not uncommon for ships in science fiction. For instance, the monolith in 2001: A Space Odyssey was 1/4/9.
Okay.
And do you recall the monolith at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing that taught the monkeys how to use weapons, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, really, it has. I don't have a whole lot on it. I just thought it was an interesting thing to talk about. Maybe anybody out there who's kind of into space like we are, fiddle around and find some more information on it, or start a conversation.
Like, I don't know enough about space to have any idea here. Can they not catch it?
Catch it?
Yeah. Like, they know where it's going. Send
Yeah.
something up and catch it. See what it is. Grab it.
I mean, you're intimately aware of the budget cuts at NASA, which is one of the reasons why you're leaving.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what makes you think that they could just throw together something that could catch up to a asteroid and catch it?
Just steer the space station towards it.
It's already like on its way out of our solar system.
Step on the gas, I guess.
Okay.
Space gas. Step on the space gas.
Okay. Yeah, we can do
Put
that.
the pedal to the space metal. That's a thing they do at NASA all the time that I'm going to carry with me, is they just add space in front of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Would you
I mean,
like your space lunch,
so
Brandon?
You're suggesting that they dump a bottle of liquid Schwartz into the space station's thruster drives.
Yeah. If they need to go ludicrous speed, that's fine. They can.
Okay.
I give them permission. I give them space permission.
Fair enough. So yeah, I thought it was a really neat story. I don't know if anybody actually out and out thinks that it's a alien spacecraft, but it is a peculiar piece of space debris that came and went in our solar system. So
Yeah, and I had read this article before. It's just they don't know what it's from. I think is the big thing that's confusing, is it's come from someplace far away from our solar system.
yeah, exactly.
That's in a totally weird shape and a weird amalgamation of ores and whatever it is that makes no sense with what we know.
Right.
Well, Remington, speaking of things that make no sense according to what we know, Marvel is making a new Wolverine property.
Oh, really?
And they are casting Richard Armitage as Wolverine. Do you know who Richard Armitage is? I had to look him up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually do know who Richard Armitage is.
He played the only sexy dwarf in The Hobbit.
Yes, exactly.
Like
he played Thorin. I was like, man, that face, the face of his shape looks really familiar. And I was like, oh, The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was really off topic for a second. It was really off-putting that all of the dwarves were disgusting and gross, except for the one that was clearly supposed to be sexy.
Well, of course, he was the king.
He didn't have shit all over him.
How did you know I was king? Well, you don't have shit all over you.
He also does the voice of Trevor Belmont in the Castlevania Netflix series, which I don't think we ever talked about.
Oh, that's cool.
But check it out if you haven't watched it. If you're listening and haven't watched it and you like any sort of gothic horror, watch the Castlevania Netflix thing. It's not horror and spookiness. It's horror and just tone.
Yeah. I think we had mentioned it when it was getting ready to come out.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. They released 6 episodes. You can watch it in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
They're all very short, but it's so fucking good. It's worth it. It is really, really good.
He played Heinz Kruger in the first Avenger.
I haven't seen the first Avenger.
Okay. There it is.
That means nothing to me.
Yep, apparently.
But anyway, here's the twist of this story. Here's the thing that makes it an interesting story. He's cast as Wolverine, as the voice of Wolverine.
Uh-huh.
Because Marvel is partnering with Stitcher Premium to do a scripted murder mystery podcast starring Wolverine.
Weird.
And it's going to be in the same vein as Serial and True Detective, where you're going to have, this is a quote from one of the writers. I'm just going to read it verbatim. I got this article from Geek Tyrant, who got it from somewhere else that I didn't write down.
Okay.
But this is a quote of the writer. As far as the story goes, it follows 2 agents who arrive in the fictional town of Burns, Alaska to investigate a series of murders. The duo team up with Deputy Bobby Reed to investigate their main suspect, Logan. But that's just the tip of the iceberg.
I mean, that's really cool that just from a media standpoint, like they're bringing back radio shows.
Yeah. It's going to be paid. You have to have Stitcher Premium.
Yeah. I mean, that's really cool. I like the idea. We did our Thanksgiving episode, which was essentially an impromptu radio show. Dramatic radio show where we did, quote unquote, did a play. We did a play, intents and purposes. Well, yeah, we did it. Yeah, we did a play, but we sold it off as if we went to a actual amphitheater and watched a play. Well, we did. We don't want to destroy the magic. We did both. It's both. It's simultaneously both. Yeah. It exists in 2 separate universes, but we did it, and then we also faked it. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and bringing back these old kind of serials. You've never listened to like Serial or any of those, have you? The true crime podcasts? No. It's like they're interviewing people and they encourage you to listen along and try to piece together the information. So it's a straight up murder mystery with Logan as their main suspect. I mean, it's not going to be Logan. Yeah. So. Or I don't know, maybe it is. But he killed it. Why would he be lying about it then? We're already talking the mysteries. Exactly. Oh my God. They've already hooked us. It's so meta. Big mood. Big mood. Have you heard about that? No. I am. We make jokes about me being a grumpy old man, but man, do I hate kids. Are you introducing me to something new and horrible I don't want to know about? Yes, I am. Apparently like there's a thing. Before? Huh? Like dabbing that you introduced me to a year ago? Yes. Yeah, apparently it was a very good dab. Apparently if somebody makes a post or something that has to do with something that could be emotional, you just say big mood.
instead of like connecting with them or asking them or
Yeah, instead of being interactive at all. Big mood. I know where you're coming from. Big mood.
oh huh.
Fucking pretentious and stupid, and I hope all of you choke on it. So dumb.
Oh shit. The younger generation has set off Remington. They put him in a big mood.
Swear to God, if ever anybody comes up to me and says big mood to me, especially when I'm angry, I'm going to show them a big mood.
So like you would be angry and somebody would say, man, big mood.
Yeah.
Is it saying that you're having a mood that is particularly bombastic?
Yes. See, now I could even get behind saying, oh, bombastic mood, because at least you're using a cool word.
Well, Shaggy taught me that.
Fucking shit.
Damn.
Oh.
I feel like we're 2 episodes away from you just declaring all younger people fuck shits of the week. Because they did their fuck shittery on purpose.
Okay, so here's another thing then, since I'm on a rant.
Okay.
I am all for transgender stuff. I don't care.
Yeah.
If you want to be a dude, be a dude. If you want to be a girl, if you want to be gender neutral, I don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me whatsoever. So I'm cool with it. I'll be supportive and do whatever. One of the things that grinds my gears, though, I saw this recently, somebody transitioning to be a male, and some things occur. Somebody referred to them as beautiful, and then they corrected them to say handsome.
Okay.
The reason why this grinds my gears a little bit is because you can be a man and be beautiful.
Yeah, I do it every day.
Exactly. You are a beautiful, beautiful man, Brandon.
Yeah.
You're not handsome, though.
No, God, no.
Now, if I put on a suit, I'm handsome.
Hugh Jackman is handsome.
Oh my God, is Hugh Jackman handsome?
So who's a man that's beautiful?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is both beautiful and handsome, though.
Yes, he is both.
But he is beautiful, yeah.
He is mostly beautiful, though. Like, if he dresses up, he looks handsome. But man, he is just a beautiful dude.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand your irritation there, and I mean, I didn't see that particularly, but I'm sure I would have rolled my eyes at it too.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, if that's what the person wants to be called, and it seems so pedantic, there's like there's times that I've seen things posted that I just roll my eyes at, like, really, you're going to be that fucking pedantic about something?
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're not the people transitioning. You know what I mean?
This is true, but at the same time, when the problem that I have with it is that you're closing yourself off.
Yeah.
Like, you're going through this transition where you're wanting people to call you something that they could not be on board with. They have trouble keeping it straight sometimes because they're so used to you being somebody different to them.
Yeah.
You should absolutely voice who you want to be. You don't have to be shitty about it.
Was this person shitty about it?
The way it was presented, there wasn't like any kind of like clarification. It was just a correction. It was like,
okay.
It was like somebody
like asterisk handsome kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like slap you on the wrist and roll your eyes and go, no, handsome.
Oh, okay.
That sort of thing. That's how it came off to me.
Did you just read it that way because you're an angry old man?
Yes, maybe. So it very well could have been very innocent and just an innocent correction. But I think that if you are transitioning, you owe it to yourself to be open-minded about things as well and understanding as well. If you're expecting somebody to be understanding that you want to transition, then you should be understanding when they make a mistake.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The problem, I think, is that you and I are right in the middle and that we are open to transgenders and transsexuals and people transitioning. We're very open. And I'm not going to lie, it's hard for me because I've known a couple people that have transitioned. I felt weird at first changing their pronouns. It was strange to me.
Yeah.
But it was a hurdle that I had to jump. But it was a hurdle that I jumped because I respected the people and said, this is what you want to be called, and far be it for me to make your life miserable because it's hard for me to change a he to a she or vice versa.
Exactly.
But then at the same time, I still hold people, regardless of what they're going through, to a certain standard of like, just don't be shitty for no reason.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Both sides want it one way or the other.
Yeah, well, and the whole point, this boils down to the middle ground that I tend to walk. You know, just try to be understanding of each other's differences. You know,
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to drive a stake through somebody's heart because they make a mistake. You know,
I got called. Speaking of all of this, I was in a discussion with somebody on a Facebook page, actually on a similar Facebook page to what you're talking about here. And somebody called me racist.
Oh yeah,
I got called racist for the first time online.
Nice.
We were discussing the history of dreadlocks, and I was talking about how all cultures have had dreadlocks. They were saying that they were talking about cultural appropriation and how if you have dreadlocks and you're not black, you're culturally appropriating things. And I'm not trying to get into it because I don't know enough about it to really say. All I was saying was, because they were saying that dreadlocks were specifically African American and that was it. And so I said, I looked up dreadlocks on Wikipedia because I was pretty sure that wasn't true. And I said, really, if you look at it, every culture has a history of dreadlocks because they do. You see them in, like, they're mentioned in the Bible. You see them in Greek culture, Aboriginal culture, everywhere you see them. And they called me a thinly veiled racist for saying that. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, what can I can get nowhere with you in a conversation. So I'm just
exactly. And that's the other thing that I have a problem with is when people start spouting off about something. I saw something entirely different about the little kid who you may have seen this where he was
he got bullied.
Yeah, he got bullied.
And then it turned out he was racist or something.
Yeah, except that there's no corroborating evidence that supports that narrative. And it's just people are to a fault anymore just jump on a bandwagon without doing any extenuating research of their own to try and find out, well, what's the real story behind this? Because now we just have one person yelling whatever.
Yeah. Well, Remington, it's just like Tears for Fears said, everybody wants to rule the world.
That's a really good reference. I like that. That's really cute.
Why, thank you.
All right. Sorry for the rant. I'm done.
You just did a story, right?
Yes.
Or no, I just did the Wolverine one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, speaking of Marvel characters then, Brandon, we talked last week and I think even the week before in the previous couple of episodes about Disney's purchase of Fox.
Yeah.
So it was the closer we get to, in fact, I think that if the deal goes through, it'll go through tomorrow.
Really? Wow. I knew that people were saying that it had been heating up, but I didn't know it was actually.
Yeah, I don't have an actual like link to that. I think I happened across it somewhere in looking. So that may not be accurate. But it's definitely something that you really want to keep your eye. Hey, if you're thinking about buying stocks, might be an interesting time to do so.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But we talked a little bit about it before where if Disney buys some Fox properties, and really what we're looking at is they would be acquiring the film production companies such as Fox Searchlight and Blue Sky Studios, which is the European section of Fox, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Their European production. It would also include the cable networks such as FX, FXX, National Geographic, via like a sub company or something like that. They'll be getting access to Marvel properties that at the moment were not up for grabs, like the X-Men primarily.
God, it would be so crossover into the MCU.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wolverine, Fantastic Four, Cable, Deadpool, Galactus.
Yeah.
And, the rest of the X-Men, so Silver Surfer. Which would be interesting because at that point, they could actually start working Silver Surfer and Galactus.
I don't think it would be Silver Surfer. Fantastic Four is Sony, isn't it?
No.
Oh, huh. No, you're right. Yeah, sorry.
So, yeah, we'll be able to see, the X-Men going in and I also have a quick correction to make. I guess Blue Sky Studios is a computer animation company that Fox owns.
Oh, okay.
But if the deal goes through, they will be getting, or they could potentially get a share of Sky, and that is the largest media company in Europe.
My only fear really with the Marvel stuff is I really like the X-Men movies. The last couple I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Age of Apocalypse I thought was kind of slow, but overall I enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
If they bring the X-Men into the MCU, suddenly the X-Men are going to be a lot goofier. There's going to be less of like the seriousness and gravitas that they have in their individual movies.
You think?
I think so, yeah. I mean, if suddenly the Nightcrawler and whoever else from the Sony movies or from the Fox movies, I'm going to keep saying Sony. So if I say Sony, just imagine I said Fox.
Okay.
The X-Men from the Fox movies, they're going to recast them. I almost guarantee that. They're not going to use the same actors if they do decide to bring them over.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't potentially use the same actors, so. I mean,
they never have. I mean, they'll redo their probably contracts and stuff.
I'm sure to a certain extent, but at the same time, I mean, if they're going to be buying the properties to be able to make films with it or use said characters, there's no reason why the contracts couldn't either transfer over or be renewed.
No, and I mean, you're right, and it would be cool. That's going to be my prediction, is that they're not going to use the same actors.
Yeah.
And they're just going to start with their own X-Men fresh.
Yeah. But, I mean, to that end, I mean, there are a lot of incredible actors out there. You think that the only person who can play Professor X is Patrick Stewart and then...
James Gandolfini?
James Gandolfini?
I don't know. That was a strange pull my brain did.
Apparently. Although, that being said, I don't know, maybe he would make a good Professor X.
Well, he's dead, so he wouldn't make much of anything now, but at the time he might have.
Oh shit, that's right, he is dead, isn't he?
I mean, he would have been like a very big Professor X. I can see him more as a Juggernaut.
Yeah. I completely forgot that he passed away. Huh. James McAvoy.
Yeah. I got the James right.
But going back to the actual the acquisition, as it were, we could even see things like television shows moving over. We could potentially see The Simpsons be a Disney property, or Family Guy, which would be really weird.
Are they getting the TV properties as well? I thought they were just getting the movie properties.
I don't really know for sure. I mean, it's still up in the air. And the same thing with the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four is technically owned by Fox as well as Constantine.
Okay.
So Disney might have to reach a deal with Constantine to get the rights to use Fantastic Four if they were so inclined to. Now, that being said, with the way that the Fantastic Four movies have gone in the past, they might want to stick with the idea that Fantastic Four is just going to stay in the trenches for a little while until they become relevant again.
Yeah. Or just say, hey, give us 5% of what you make off these Fantastic Four movies and you can have the characters back.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes, and that's something I've been following pretty closely.
Yeah.
So we will definitely report on that if something happens with it on our Facebook page.
Absolutely. So, Brennan, do you have one more story that we can run off with now that we're probably going to be an hour and a half show?
This one I want to talk about real quick. It's something that I think we could really get into, but I'm just going to drop it here as is. The San Diego Comic-Con was suing the Salt Lake Comic-Con.
Oh, really?
You remember that?
Oh, wait.
Over the use of the name Comic-Con.
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con said that Salt Lake was infringing on their trademark by using the phrase Comic-Con. Well, a jury sided with San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, really?
So as it stands now, Comic-Con is being upheld as a trademarked term from San Diego Comic-Con specifically.
So the terminology Comic-Con.
Yes. Now, I mean, this isn't a widespread ruling, but this does have a court ruling behind it.
Yeah.
Which means that going forward, if San Diego Comic-Con chooses to take other Comic-Cons to court, there's precedent to say that they will probably win.
Yeah. Huh.
So they're starting to chisel out the rights to use the phrase Comic-Con themselves. Now, Salt Lake Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con was originally asking for $12 million in damages from Salt Lake Comic-Con. The jury awarded them $20,000.
Yeah.
So significantly less than $12 million.
Yeah, sure.
And they ruled that Salt Lake Comic-Con used the trademarked phrase without their permission, but they used it unknowingly.
Okay.
Because they didn't realize it was trademarked, because technically it wasn't 100% trademarked.
Okay. So
you see what I mean?
So it is the phrase Comic-Con. It's not like SDCC or...
Right. The phrase Comic-Con.
Okay.
San Diego coming in there with their big nuts, and they're just knocking buildings down.
Right.
They're just knocking people down and saying, we're the big nuts. We have Comic-Con. We threw them on the table. What do you got?
Right. I mean, it's easily overcome as far as it goes. I mean, don't get me wrong. Comic-Con has a good ring to it. And, it's pretty ingrained into nerd culture now that a Comic-Con is a convention of comics that you go to.
Yeah.
Because we live in the 21st century and everybody's lazy. So saying comic book convention is boring and slow and not catchy and awkward. And if there's one thing that nerds need less of, it's awkwardness. So
Yeah, see, I've already lost interest in this conversation.
Exactly. So we came up with Comic-Con.
Things down.
See, and if I say Comic-Con, you immediately come back and you're
Comic-Con, whoa, skateboards.
Super cool. But you can get around that by saying like Comic Expo. Or
yeah.
A Kexpo.
Oh, Kexpo, there you go. Trademark.
Yeah,
trademark. If you use that, we're suing the shit out of you.
That's right. Or Comexpo.
Comexpo. Well, I mean, the Kapow Pop Culture podcast, Jordan, who's on that, runs the River City Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Technically, he can't use Comic-Con anymore without fear of litigation.
Yeah. And
River City Comic-Con's been going on for 5 years at least.
Yeah. So, and I mean, that's one instance out of hundreds across the country, maybe thousands across the country.
Oh, I'm sure thousands. Yeah.
So, it's weird to me, honestly, that, I mean, if they have a proper trademark claim, then it is what it is, If they have trademarked the phrase Comic-Con, then they reserve the right to, basically what they're doing is sounds like Salt Lake Comic-Con had probably been growing in size.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it was.
And, potentially taking business from the San Diego Comic-Con, at which point they could, So that being said, anybody who's on the East Coast or maybe the Midwest, far enough Midwest, they probably don't have anything to worry about.
Probably, but you are still running that risk now knowing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's always the risk involved, but still.
So, yeah, I think San Diego is being real shitty about this whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean,
trademark or not, but just the fact that Comic-Con is such a used phrase and has been for so long.
Yeah. And even if they did copyright it or trademark it a while ago, they're just now getting around to doing something about somebody using it.
It's been tied up in the courts for a while now.
The phrase or that
with Salt Lake.
Okay. I don't know. I understand it to a certain extent, but like, for instance, Dueling Ogres, if somebody else wanted to call themselves Dueling Ogres, or maybe I'm pretty sure that this isn't true, but if we would have happened upon the name Dueling Ogres and somebody already had it.
Yeah.
As we grow this brand, that is something that we would technically have to look out for. If we start gaining popularity, we don't want to be misrepresented by somebody who may be using our name in a way that we don't agree with.
Yeah, well, and if we were big enough and there's another podcast started called like Dueling Ogre or Dueling Trolls, that's where it kind of gets into that litigious part of it where you say, well, it's close enough that it could potentially hurt our brand.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I understand what San Diego Comic-Con is doing in that they're aggressively protecting their brand name.
Yeah.
But it's just, they're the biggest fucking game around.
Yeah. And
like we've talked about how much money they bring into San Diego whenever they have the Comic-Con, how much the mayor is like bribing them and dropping the prices just to get them to come.
Right.
So they're not fucking going anywhere. So just this irritates me a lot.
Yeah. The main problem that I have, like, Dueling Ogres is one thing, because that is a brand that we have crafted itself, but like Comic-Con is a very generic term. It is an amalgamation of two common and free to use words. So I mean, I think the biggest problem that I have is that, I mean, if they want to say trademark the phrase San Diego Comic-Con or even SDCC, you know, I could absolutely be supportive of this decision. But if you're just taking Comic-Con off the market, I mean, seems like kind of horse shit to me.
Yeah, it's shitty.
Yeah.
So that's where we stand. Shitty horse shit.
Does this mean that we can actually call the San Diego Comic-Con fuck shits of the week?
I think we can.
Or at least the court system.
Yeah. This week, the fuck shit of the week is the American justice system.
Exactly.
Fuck shit of the week.
Yep.
We need to compile a list somewhere of all the fuck shits of the week we've had.
Yeah, we do. We should. One of these days, it'll never happen.
No.
That would mean we'd have to actually listen to our previous episodes.
And there's a lot of them.
There are. There's a few. All right. I think that wraps us up this week for now. We had a lot more to talk about, but, you know, we can go anywhere at any time and do anything, because this is the world of tomorrow.
That was amazingly incoherent.
So if you have any questions for the world of tomorrow, or comments, or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us in the future. The future.
In the future.
In the year 3000. By calling 978-DU Ogres. That's 978-386-4737.
In the future, we're better at this.
No, we're not. It's a lie.
No.
You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres. Email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave a comment on the Facebook page like some of these nice people.
We had 2 comments on our episode this week. The first one is from Nega Larry, who says, this episode left me with Ron Jeremy Santa, Battlefront 2 thoughts, Humble Bundles, and the nagging question of whose bearded face has Remington Hitchcock kissed?
I'll never tell.
XOXO, Gossip Rim. And then the Viscount Terry W. Urban II says, I'm with you guys. I was not overly impressed with the Avatar movie, and I think Avatar The Last Airbender was a much better movie.
Yes. And even that got panned.
Yeah. That was not a very popular movie.
Yeah. I mean, the show, the animated series was way better. Way better. I never watched Legend of Korra, though. I heard that it was really good. It has just
That's what I've heard, is it's really good.
I heard that it has just as much of a following as Avatar The Last Airbender did, but I never got into it. There was some other stuff too.
That's all I saw on our episode.
Apparently I forgot how to work a phone.
Phone, tell me things now.
As a quick aside, Jesse Starcher from the Source Material podcast had left us a video. Did you ever get around to watching it? I know I linked you in it.
No, I did not.
It was you'd really enjoy it. It's right up the horror movie trope alley.
Okay.
But it's called, you can go over to YouTube and find it called Board James: Dream Phone, episode 19. I'd never heard of this guy before.
It's the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Oh, I guess I don't know anything.
Nah. Which is funny, I didn't watch it because I spent the last 2 days binge watching Angry Video Game Nerd episodes.
That's funny. Jesse said that he's glad he got to share it with us. It's probably the best one of the series. Things make an interesting turn after the Dream Phone episode, as what started out being a show that was similar to Angry Video Game Nerd by commenting on games. It continued to do so, but also explores the character of Board James and his relationship with his dead friends that he was able to bring back to life with one of the most controversial board games of all, the Ouija board. So I guess it just keeps getting weirder from then on out.
Yeah. which I love stuff like that. I really will have to watch it because I love, especially when a show just takes a weird turn for no reason.
Yeah. So I just figured I'd give that a little bit of a shout out too, since we're running with shout outs anyway.
Yeah. And I do want to give a shout out to some unnamed people. The last episode we did, I talked a little bit about my anxiety and how it was hard for me to get out of the house and stuff. Like, I really kind of bared myself. And I got some messages from people checking up on me, making sure I was okay. So I want to thank them for that. I am doing a lot better. So if you listen to that and were concerned that I was not doing great, I wasn't at the time, but I've got some stuff tweaked. I've been working on some things. So I'm doing a lot better. So thank you for the people that reached out to me. I appreciate it.
And I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you really want to give a superficial boost to Brandon's self-worth to help him push through these tough times that he has, share out our page. Get us some more likes. Get us up to 500.
Yeah. That'll keep me from killing myself.
Jesus, I wasn't going to take it there, but whatever. But seriously, I mean, that's something that we watch frequently, and I think we are both aware that it is not the end-all be-all if we have more likes or not. You know, we'll still keep doing this podcast as long as we feel like doing it and as long as we're still having fun with it. But it does provide us a nice little morale boost when we start seeing those numbers kind of creep up. So,
well, and it's a good gauge of where we're getting listeners from too.
Yeah.
It's a good gauge of where we should put our time to try to grow a bigger audience.
Exactly. You know, whatever. I know that, what do they call the people who sit and watch you in Twitch? Lurkers.
Yeah.
So I know that a podcast probably has quite a few lurkers. You know, we have people who are just listening and not really chiming in on the conversation, but join our conversation. I mean, don't be shy.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you.
Yeah, we have a Discord. We do a lot of chatting in there.
Yep. We're available at all times of the day. You can find that on our website. We
get bitched at for talking too late by people.
Yeah, that's funny. Fuck you, Bucky. He listens to us.
Yeah.
Just because you have a life and need to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning doesn't mean we do. Turn off your phone. Fucking youngins not knowing how to turn off your phone.
Damn kids.
Oh, geez. So make sure to subscribe on our website, duelingogres.com, for new shows and articles like my Librarians one that I just posted, or other articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news. If you would like to write for us, like we mentioned earlier on, send us an email. Go ahead and just write something up and send me a copy. I might just straight up publish it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do what I want. It's my website.
Write about how much you hate the show.
Yeah, you can do that. I will publish that too. And then I'll delete it. Or just head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review, because that helps to boost us higher in the cool kids list.
And
how. Or, hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you're watching us or / listening to us on YouTube.
Yeah, do it all. Tickle every button.
All the likes and the subscribes and the bells and all those things. Hit all of them. Do them all. Just do them TK41 style.
Yeah, exactly. Consensual and okay.
That's right. But silently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
But make a fucking mouse droid watch. I love that he had to wipe its memory afterwards. Like, he couldn't just lock it in a fucking closet for 20 minutes. I want you to experience me fucking somebody, and then I'll wipe your memory.
I want you to watch, but don't remember.
What, they don't have fucking sheets like a parrot?
Just throw it over him. If he tries to move, the sheet will get walked up in the wheels.
Oh, shit.
Jesus. So until next week, Ogres, keep your club's blood.
And your tusks sharp.
Good night. Okay, where were we? Huh?
What'd you say?
Whoa. Does it not like you recording? Talk.
Okay. Continue talking.
Yeah.
What's it doing?
It didn't like you for a hot second.
Oh,
It doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
I'm sorry.
You will be.
Isn't that what
You'll
he
be
said?
sorry. You'll be dead.
Oh, that's right. I couldn't remember what he said.
Ow, my arm.
Ew, my banana.
My banana.
My bananas. My bananas.
So, Remington, Americans throw away enough straws in 24 hours to fill 120 school buses.
That's a lot of straws.
We throw away 500 million plastic straws every 24 hours.
Wow. I use my straw for days. This cup is like 3 days old.
Here's a new straw you can buy called Lolly Straw. It's made of seaweed and it's edible.
Lolly straw. Lollygag.
also-
Lolly straw.
Fun and delicious.
Fun and delicious. You know what else is fun and delicious?
What?
Oh boy! I can't wait to put some honey in my butt. Oh,
Well,
shit.
Why honey in the butt?
I don't know. Oh, hold on. I gotta. Don't know. Apparently, they just make shit up. So I can say however I want.
It was
Okay.
Mario cereal.
Beepy doopy 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 dee beepy beepy. Beep 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 beep. Beep 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 beep.
That was good.
Thanks.
Ba 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 ba.
Wait, was that you or was that me?
That was you.
Huh.
Nothing my computer makes comes through onto your end except for my voice.
Is that my voice?
Ah, hi guys.
Borbloglin.
Okay. Borble Bloglin.
Borbloglin.
Borble blogging. Blogs about borbles.
Borbloglin. Oh, I'm just over here borblogging.
It's my
Hey.
Borble blog.
Hey, just gotta get my Borblog on.
Borble blogging.
Borblogging. Borblogging. Back and forth.
Is that his name? Borble blogging?
No.
What's his name?
Bob Blorgan.
Jim Belushi.
Bob Blorgan. Bob Blorgan is Borgleblobbing. Borgleblobbing.
My
blogging.
Borgle blob.
Borbleblogging.
Read my Borgle blob.
Fucking stupid. I need a adjective.
Borgle blog.
That's not an adjective, it's a noun.
Borble blogging. Borble blogging. The act of writing in a Borble blog.
Ow, what the fuck?
Did you get shocked?
No.
Did you get borbled?
No, I got
You should
blogged.
blog about it.
I don't know if it just pinched a hair. I think it just pinched a hair. Just was not expecting it. Atlantean. We're doing Atlantean.
I still think you should do Borble blogging.
I think you should shut up. Ready to do this thing?
Let's just do it.
Okay.
Let's do a podcast to just shut up.
Okay, just shut up and do a podcast. Rocket ship. Hold on. Hey.
Remington chases the dog out of the room. Get out of here.
Fucking chair.
Oh God, Remington's pulled out a gun. What is he doing?
Fucking
Oh,
pricks.
3
I can
shots?
hear you.
4 shots? Remington, no.
I can still hear you.
Oh, you really?
Yeah. I don't have headphones anymore. The fucking dog ate them.
Oops.
What was I talking about?
The
doing
breathing
yoga.
app you sent me.
Yeah.